Live from the City of Angels here on this Sunday night, you're watching MMT Sunday Evening Spectacular. We have a bunch of big stuff to talk about, including Dune getting close to $600 million. What's the final resting spot for that film, box office-wise? Also, we're going to talk about Late Night with the Devil, my expanded thoughts on that film. And yes, we are going to start with our big topic. And no, we're not talking about Sydney Sweeney's boobs. I mean, that's what we're all thinking, right? The big topic. But the reality is, when you look at Sydney Sweeney, and I was sitting here today thinking about what can we talk about tonight, and I saw Immaculate, and we have to talk about that film. It's not a good film. But I was watching this film thinking, how did Sydney Sweeney become so big, so fast, and does she really have the goods to last long in Hollywood? Because as I start this stream with you tonight, and your comments are going to be huge. I've already seen a bunch of them. You guys are smart. I love using your stuff because you guys get it. You start to look at her work, and you start to see cracks, right? Now, that's not to say she doesn't have talent. When I watched her for the first time that I really had a chance to kind of get myself familiar with the work of Sydney Sweeney, it was with that Reality, that HBO Max made for TV. It could have really been in theaters if it were like an A24 or Neon film. It was about her real life story based on a CIA. She wasn't an operative, right? She was someone who worked for the CIA in a lower level capacity, and she snuck out documents and sent them out to get the CIA in trouble, right? The famous story. But, you know, when I watched the film, I was like, she's talented. This is a really strong actress. But I think having watched her work now over the past several months, and since she's exploded really Anyone for You, and then, of course, Immaculate, she's really everywhere. She is definitely Hollywood's it girl. But when you go back and you look at Reality, when I go back through the lens of knowing what I know now and seeing more of Sydney Sweeney's work, that's where the question comes in. What is this woman's allure? Now, that's not, again, to say she does not have talent. You go back to Reality, I think she's great at being who she is, which I think is fair to say is most actors, right? There's very few thespians out there that are going to be able to give you the range that you're looking for when you talk about the greats out there, right? You talk about actors who, when they're in any given role, they're a chameleon. You don't know what you're going to get. Robert Downey Jr., you know, most recently, we talk about someone just coming off an Oscar win. You talk about someone who has the goods, everything that you need to be a star in this town, that man possesses, right? Even has the comeback story, which obviously is a big part of right now, and we saw that when he won the Oscar. You know, it's just such a great story. Hollywood loves that. Brendan Fraser last year. When you look at the necessary toolbox that you need to bring to the set as an actor, you need to have all kinds of tools in there so that you're able to present a character with many different angles, with so much layer, and that comes with time. And I think it really just comes down to raw talent. And when I watched Sydney Sweeney, and I watched her here with Immaculate, we're going to get through the MMT evaluation here momentarily, you just don't see much, okay? She seems like a sweet girl. She seems like, you know, the girl next door. And I think that's one of the big reasons she's successful, okay, is the fact that she does seem like middle America, right? The cute, petite blonde that's been successful in Hollywood forever. Go back to my day, Gen X here. Go back to Heather Locklear, to Farrah Fawcett, right? On Pam Anderson. On and on and on, right? Hollywood loves a cute blonde. And here we have it. Now, the thing, though, that I think is most perplexing here going forward with Sydney Sweeney is that where is she going to go? Because when you put her in this role, in Immaculate, this is where the flaws and the weaknesses were exposed. In a film where you're not just required to sit there and smile and look cute like she was in an Anyone But You, or as I go back to reality, that was not what she was doing, but the role required so little. She does almost nothing. Now, you're going to hit me with a ton of actors that do almost nothing. In fact, Mel Gibson is famous for saying one of the things you want to do when you're on the big screen is to do almost nothing, because everything's going to be magnified. So if I go on the big screen doing what I'm doing right now, that's insane. You're out of control, Weber. You need to bring that down from an 11 to an 8. Where have we heard that before, right? For Sweeney, it's like a 5. Can she go to a 6? Can she hit 7? It's not a question of ramping up, of ramping down. It's ramping up. And I don't think she has it. Now, I think what's interesting, and the reason I chose this as our big topic here tonight, and we'll go into the comments here momentarily, is that right now it hasn't really been exposed, right? People are just like, it's Sydney Sweeney, Hollywood's it girl. But when you start to look under the hood, when you really start to examine what she's bringing to the table, you start to say, this is not going to be a long career. I mean, you just don't see behind the eyes, the wheels turning, right? You don't see the process. You just see kind of this doe-eyed, simplistic, presentation, and it works for some roles, but in other roles like today in Immaculate, you need more. There has to be more going on. The wheels have to be churning, or you're going to realize that we're in trouble, and that's exactly where we are. John, she'll burn out a lot quicker than women like Jennifer Connelly or Emily Blunt. She lacks the range and charisma. The range for sure. And I would say you're probably right, John, with charisma, because, again, we're so drawn to the physical allure of people. There's no question. That's how we're built as a species, right? Why do you think we had supermodels in the 90s? Now we don't. Now anybody can be a model, right? Just like anybody can be a film critic. That's for sure. But back in the 90s and 80s and before, you had obviously the era of the supermodel, and you had to look basically perfect. So that stereotype has always existed in society. And now with Sydney Sweeney, we kind of have that returning. And what's interesting is that we don't really have an acknowledgement of that's what's happening, right? Because if you really, again, I think that's what's so fascinating here, is that it really is right now a career that is largely built on looks and, yes, those things that we all talk about, right? I mean, that's the reality. So it's just one of these things when I come on this channel, and more comments momentarily, I want to present things that are perplexing, that are interesting, and I don't want to just hammer the same old anti-woke or woke, whatever the hell. I don't want to do that. I want to go, well, this is interesting. No one's really talked about that. And she was good in reality. But again, what's fascinating again to me is that when I watch reality, I didn't know what she did. So I go, oh, she's acting. She wasn't acting. That was her. She was just doing a slightly altered version of who she is. Now, you're yelling now. Settle down. I get it. Almost everybody, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, they almost all do a version of themselves. The best actors, though, have more in the gas tank, and I'm telling you, she just doesn't. I don't see it. And I think that Mulchi, like we just said, she'd be the witch girl instead of the it girl, if not for the chest. And now I'm going to get dragged, right? Here comes everybody to drag Weber again. He's doing it again. I'm just saying what's uncomfortable, but yet true, which is what we need to do. We've got to get back to doing that. This is not to say that I don't want to see Sydney Sweeney succeed. I think that she has made some interesting choices as an actress. If we go into this IMDb page, and let's do that. Let's go and look in. And when I was thinking, again, for me, reality was the first time. I don't watch Euphoria. I didn't watch The White Lotus. Of course, she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm really small role, right? In what's, by the way, can I say something about Immaculate real quick before I savage the movie? Quentin Tarantino is going to like Immaculate. You hear me? He's going to like this movie. He's going to go and see this movie multiple times. So here's the thing. She moved out here when she was 14 years old. She was in Spokane, Washington. I looked at her Wikipedia page, and she wanted to be an actress. She went out for some independent film that was shooting in Spokane. By the way, I used to live up in that area. Spokane, Washington is hell on earth. Like, if you live in Spokane, I'm sorry, I'm going to savage. I can't imagine living there. I believe it's like one of the biggest meth capitals of the world, which, if you've been to Spokane, you understand why people do meth. Weber's at it again. So she said, I got to get the hell out of Spokane, which is the natural reaction to being in Spokane. So she then left to come down to Hollywood at 14. And I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the actors who come out here to Hollywood, they move right down the street from where I'm broadcasting here tonight. It used to be called the Oakwood. Now it's called the Ava. And they rent out short-term apartments. It's in basically right in between Burbank and Hollywood on Barham Boulevard, which comes down by Warner Brothers. It's like this big steep drive coming down from Hollywood down to Burbank into the valley. And so I bet she lived there because they all come out here. They rent an apartment for like 3 months. They go out on auditions, especially during pilot season in the spring. Now pilots are shot all throughout the year, so it's different than how it was even back in 2014. But I bet she lived there. They come out here 2014. She books a few jobs. Look, and then all of a sudden, here she is. Now, this is not to say she came out of nowhere. Okay, she's been at this for a while. You go back, moved out here when she was 14 years old. She's got to be, what is she now, 24, 25? I mean, let me see. Hold on, let me pull up the Wikipedia. She's 26, so she's been out here for 12 years. So this is not an overnight thing. One thing I want to definitely make sure that is stated, it's never quick. Hollywood's never a quick thing. You think they come out of nowhere, and I say here, the meteoric rise of Sydney Sweeney, but at the end of the day, it is not meteoric. It takes time. And you go back and you look at her in 2011. She was on a TV series called Kicking It. She was in 90210 in 2010. Was that show even still on? Was that like the remake of it? She was in The Bling Ring. Remember that? Yes, I remember that film. Grey's Anatomy. All these like tiny little roles. And then I think, Pretty Little Liars. Then she finally books the big one. I think Sharp Objects was one. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it really was about Euphoria. I think that was clearly the one along with White Lotus. Both those shows very popular, and certainly Euphoria with the Gen Z crowd. She's massive with Gen Z. She has does she do Chanel, and she has she's doing all of these big brands. I mean, this girl is killing it. And she seems, again, a sweet girl. No one's making fun of the fact. She seems like she's a good person, which in this town does not last long. So the fact that she's able to carry that on, that innocent act, let's hope it is, because it's very difficult to continue. But I think that really what's interesting here as we go to all your comments is, where are we going to get the range that you need to succeed? Because I did not see it in Immaculate. Comments, and then I'm going to trash the movie. Comments, and then boom, we are off and running. I think a lot of people want to use the big tits as a way to discredit her. I think with good directors and characters, she has what it takes to have a lucrative career. Her face is very unique. I disagree. Her face is not very unique. It's fine. It's very much along the paradigm of what we expect to have for a blonde, blue-eyed girl, right? I mean, you go back and, again, look at Heather Locklear, look at Farrah Fawcett, Pam Anderson, Hollywood, the history of blondes. Marilyn Monroe, for God's sake. You look at that, and she fits that exact model. It'll be forever, throughout the remainder of time. Blondes will be very popular in Hollywood, and the right one comes around. You back look at Suzanne Summers. I mean, how many do we have to list? There's millions more that I'm not. But I think she is right there in that mold. But what's going to have to happen for her is she's going to have to find a way to get out of her comfort zone. If she does not get out of her comfort zone and go places where she is not comfortable going, then she's not going to have a career that is very long. It's just she's going to be like, just white hot and then boom, gone. Sydney Sweeney is a hit or miss actress. She has moments in Euphoria, but other times is flat. Gone Girl, again, I would have to assume that Euphoria, because that's what people tell me, is where you see a little bit more of the range. In everything I've seen, she is flat. There is very little, again, of those wheels turning. There's very little action going on. And today in Immaculate, let's just do it, and then I'll get to more of your comments. We're going to do the the MMT evaluation of this film. And I'll tell you, first things is, when we talk about Sydney Sweeney, we're talking about the it girl. She's the biggest thing in Hollywood. And look, again, today you see it. She is now in Neon's #1 all-time biggest debut with Immaculate. The problem is the movie is truly bad, okay? There's only one thing I'm going to bring to your attention that is solid. There's one thing. Half-decent cinematography. That is the only thing we're going to give this film. Everything else is going to go with the down thumb, because here we go. There's nothing new here to say. This is another one of these films where the character gets trapped in some place that they thought was going to be X and it turns out to be Y, and then they have to figure out their way out, and then they realize the people that they trusted, maybe they shouldn't have, and then it all goes sideways, okay? And here's the other thing. There are 0 scares. When you make a horror film, you have to present a scare or two. There can't be just some brooding atmosphere with half-decent cinematography. There has to be legitimate, ominous feel to the film, and it just doesn't possess that. It attempts to do that, but it can't naturally generate it. And you know how I have proof that that happens? There is an incessant blaring score. This score is bad, and this score is all throughout the film. You know what that tells me? The director, first-time director here, he knew that this film wasn't scary. This film wasn't great. And what do you do if you know that your film isn't working? You are going to dress it up and you're going to crank that score to try to trick the audience into thinking that the film is decent or at least scary, right? Here comes the jump scare. You're like, that isn't going to make it scary, okay? So the score is the clear indication that even the director knows that this thing is bad. But I think really at the end of this film, this is one of the most overblown, I would dare say pretentious endings I have seen in forever. We get her. I almost want to ruin the movie for you guys. It's so bad. If you trust me, Gone Girl, I saw her comment. I'm going to bring it in. It's terrible. I know you know that. And the fact that people are saying it's good is like, what? Remember? What? What are we doing? At the end of the film, screw it. I'm ruining it. You guys, if you haven't seen it, here we go. She is a nun who goes to Italy. I can't do it without it, because last time, here's why I'm doing this. Last time I hammered Poor Things, everyone was like, you didn't say why. Well, here comes why. Here comes why Immaculate sucks ass. You ready? She's a nun. She goes to Italy. She finds out that everybody in the convent is a little weird, right? Like we've in a cult. Well, where have we seen this before? And slowly but surely, she realizes she's pregnant. And the reason she's pregnant is, don't breathe, is that the priest in charge of the place, the young kind of suave looking priest that probably wouldn't be a priest, has been experimenting with the DNA of Jesus, who is on the nail that they have found off the cross. And they are trying to make Jesus reborn inside of Sydney Sweeney. Now, the first, you're screaming right now, the blasphemy. And fair, right? I mean, if she wanted to prove to Hollywood that I'm willing to go really far in the name of sacrilege, then she did. But it's not even that offended me. It's the fact that by the end of the movie, she's having the bastardized whatever creature is inside of her, and she gives birth to the creature. Sorry, guys, you lose. And the creature we never see, but we hear and we know is an abomination. And the camera gets stuck right on Sydney Sweeney's face with blood all over her face because she just had the baby without a doctor. And there's blood everywhere, but of course around the eyes, right? Whenever they do that, the eyes are always perfect, but there's blood everywhere. But we just make sure the eyes are clean and there's blood everywhere else. And she's staring at the camera going, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" And then she gets a gigantic boulder rock thing and smashes the baby, and the movie's over. It's fucking horrible. And if what I just told you doesn't prove this movie is an abomination, I don't know what else to tell you. The fact I gave it 25% is too high. I want to reevaluate and revise right now and give it a 7%. Oh, man, this movie. Guys, I'm sorry. The reason I had to do that is because here's what happens. As soon as I get done with this stream, someone's going, "You didn't say why Immaculate was terrible." I just did. So F off, poor things, people that keep coming after me. You didn't say. From now on, I'm going to destroy movies, and that's just what it is. Felicity, thank you for the super chat. We're animals who want to see fantasy on screen. Problem is most actors these days ruin the fantasy when they open their mouths. That's true. It's 100% true. Sweeney hasn't done that yet. Hopefully she keeps her soul. I hope so. I hope so. She does seem very grounded and very sweet. Maybe it's because her parents are still here with her. I don't know her story off the screen. I know she's engaged to some dude. I know there were off-field, rumors throughout Anything But You with Glenn Powell, but she seems kind of unscathed, which is cool. But you're right. I mean, I think a lot of people, and the one thing that she hasn't done, and let's say is probably a good move, and let's continue, don't get politics into it. Not as a star. Here I go into politics, right? We get into stuff. It's a YouTube. I'm allowed. I'm not representing a studio, right? And if I were, it's too late. I've already destroyed that. So at this point, let's just dig deeper. But with Sydney Sweeney, just don't go into the politics. I think someone went after one of her relatives for liking Trump, and it was like, what are we doing? Just kind of leave politics out of it. Hollywood needs to learn to just shut up about that stuff. You can maybe say something, but don't make it your whole personality. Wild Man Beyond, I just saw on Twitter about rumors of Euphoria canceled. Really? She's fine. She doesn't need Euphoria. And if Euphoria is canceled, maybe it's Zendaya too. If that's true, it's really about, think about this. The longer that a series goes on, the stars on that series get big and start booking things outside of the series, so they can't necessarily, or they don't want to go back to the show. They can't commit to doing 10 episodes of Euphoria. I told you guys I was on an episode of Euphoria, right? So you're getting someone who knows this shit, right? When you come to MMT, I'm not just, spouting shit from Dayton, Ohio. One day I might move to Ohio, but right now I'm here and I've lived it. I was on Euphoria. I know what that show's like to shoot. It's a bitch. Okay, when you look at what Levinson tries to do with that show, and I only shot a scene that's literally a oneer. It is a shot at a motel. I think it's season 2. Go back and watch. I never even seen it. Season 2, that we're out in the middle of the San Fernando Valley at a motel, and we've got this gigantic crane going across with the camera on the jib, and it's going across the hotel, and it's a oneer. And we shot that thing for, no joke, 2.5 hours. It was like a 3-second scene, maybe a minute, okay? So I can imagine working with Levinson on Euphoria is a bitch. He was very difficult. I mean, I let's just say this. He came up to me when I was on Euphoria, and he was like, "Hey, I need you to do this. Can you go here? Can you do this?" And he was so, intense. And it was cool. I can handle that because, hello, I'm intense too. And I was like, yeah, so I'm a cop. I was dressed up in SWAT gear, and if you watch the scene, I'm like one of the last guys as I had to do a motion. I haven't even watched it. I don't even remember the night other than it took forever to shoot. The point of all this is that I can imagine that Sweeney and also Zendaya, who's, she's obviously doing quite well for herself. You've got 2 of the stars, and you got the kid, the Angus guy who just died, committed suicide, total tragedy. That show gets more expensive to produce because typically, to my knowledge, when they book a show for like 1 or 2 years, that's all they book and they get them in that contract. So when that third season, because I believe this is season 3, right? Anytime you get those seasons above that, you get a renegotiation of the contract. And when that happens, then of course the salaries go up. So the cost of the show goes up. The stars don't want to do it. So they might drive their price up even higher. They think to working with Levinson, who's not easy to work with from my experience and from what I've heard about the show. Go back and look at the rumors of that show. And my personal, again, being on the set myself, I can answer them. So when you have all that in conjunction, you can understand why, if these rumors are there, that they are true. It would make sense why the show would be canceled because of everything I just detailed. That you don't get anywhere else. Nowhere else do you get but MMT. Zendaya and Sydney were the only breakout stars that will survive Euphoria. The rest of the cast pretty forgettable. Wasn't what's his ass on that though? The kid that's amazing in Saltburn. I love him in Elvis. He's very good. The Australian guy. What's his name? Help me out. You know who I'm talking about. That kid's good. He was on Euphoria, right? He's really talented. He blew me away when I watched Saltburn. It's the first time I've seen him, and I go, "This kid's good." Right? For Sydney Sweeney, I was impressed with her work on that HBO movie thing, but and also the Angus kid did seem talented. He's got a great look. He's in that Abigail horror movie, by the way. It's gonna be weird. Anytime someone like passes away and they're still in a movie, remember Ray Liotta? It's just weird. It's a strange thing because you're watching someone and they're no longer with us. It's just an odd thing. That's why when they go back and do this AI and the digitation of actors that have passed on, obviously Princess Leia, you go back and look at that. It's awkward, right? It's just not a normal thing to watch, and I think that's one of the things that Hollywood will struggle with as you go forward with AI. On a side note, Wildman Beyond, the problem is she did Immaculate before anyone but you. It should have been vice versa because the movie made her a bigger star. Now you get this crap might destroy her with Christian groups. I mean, listen, it's extremely, this is offensive, right? If you're a super religious person, I was raised Catholic. Do I believe in God? Yes. Do I attend church every Sunday? No. But I do have a spiritual aspect to me. I'm not offended necessarily by what I saw today. That's not why I didn't like the film, right? I did not dislike Immaculate intensely because of its sacrilegious tones with religion. No. That's not why. It's because the movie's not great, okay? I detail why. But there's going to be people that watch this film and are like, you're canceled. I can't believe you do that. People say that all the time, right? And I say this too. For me, as trying to put, if I were an actor, right, and they came to me and said, we want you to do this movie, let's say Human Centipede, I would say no, right? I want you to do Terrifier. No, that's not, I love horror, but remember, we have to keep the humanity at least sort of in there. And I think when we lose it and we go to the savagery and just go off the rails with violence, it's too much for me. I have standards, and for whatever that is, it is what it is. Most people don't. In Hollywood, most people do whatever it takes to make it. Whatever. So any movie, you want me to do anything, I'm totally down with it. So that is how this town runs, and I'm sure Sydney Sweeney had someone saying this is a good idea. I heard she read the script back in 2014, then bought the rights. I'm like, really? You bought the rights for the script? Really? I wonder who's making business decisions for her, because this is a bad film. As I said in my reaction tweet, this is one of Neon's worst films. You've got a catalog of some of the best films of any studio, any independent distributor that is out there with Neon. You go back, look at an I, Tonya, obviously a Parasite, all of the years, over the years, Loose, I Love a Wild Rose. There's so many of their films that I adore that aren't even coming to my mind right now. There's more that I like than dislike. Recently, How to Blow Up a Pipeline. So many good, strong films, independent films from Neon. This is one of their worst. And I heard they acquired it after it was shot. I know why they acquired it. They probably paid like $5 million for it. They knew they had Sydney Sweeney coming off in Anyone But You, and they knew they were going to make a ton of money. They're going to make money. It already made $5 million. So let's say they purchased it for $5 million. They're going to get their money back. I imagine they probably bought it for at least that. Okay, they purchased it after it was finished. I don't even think it was shopped. She probably went to Neon knowing it was weird. But I'll tell you what, A24 would not have bought this film. It's bad. So Neon damages their brand. No question, it's a stain on the brand of Neon with this film. And I know that there's people in the industry who watch, and I'm sure word will get back. And Neon, listen, let me explain something to you, Neon. I've been a fan of yours forever, so I'm allowed to hammer you when the time is right. I'm not going to play a game of you're going to like all our films. No way. I'm going to savage the films that are bad. That's how it works. That's the game. I'm not going to play any other game to get any kind of credit, reward, access. Don't give a shit. I'm done with that. It's over. I enjoy going to the AMC down the street where I don't have any strings attached to what I can do. I can go into a movie and destroy it and literally nuke it and not have to worry about going to another movie again, because I'm not going to have part and parcel having to say the movie's good. It is what it is. 72% fresh by critics is absurd. This is not a good film. And I'll tell you what they did with this film, Immaculate, that was really smart of Neon. They rolled it out at South by Southwest. Why is that important? Because we've said so many times, what happens at these festivals? People get excited. We're at the festival. Look at us. Woo, we're so cool. We're seeing the movie first. And they get overhyped and they say the movie's good. And they go back and go, shit, it's not good. Everybody does it. I would be the worst. If you took me to a festival, I wouldn't play that game. You guys know I don't play that game. You'd show me, I saw the first screen of Babylon, and I said it was a flaming disaster. This is the worst film he's ever made. Damien Chazelle, I was right. Terrible film. 2 good scenes inside of a burning disaster of a film. So I'm not afraid. Most people are. They're like, I don't know if I can say that. This is Damien Chazelle. I'm like, it's terrible. So people get hyped when they see a film at a film festival. A lot of these people are also shills, man. We talk about it all the time. How many people in this space are shills? How many people are like, oh, everything's great. Look at me. I'm getting access. I'm interviewing this person, and look at the swag I got. And no one fucking cares, okay? And if you base your worth on you being at a first screening, we need to get you into more hobbies that expand your life. So, you know, when you don't cede any of that power to the studios, they have no control. And ultimately, that's how you have to be. You have to be detached and fearless and all these things that you get from right here on MMT. We'll go to more stuff in a moment, but you guys are having fun with this. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I like when this show comes around on Sunday night, half the time I don't even have a plan. As is usually very apparent. And tonight, same thing. I said, let's just hit go and roll with it. Freddie, people need to check their beliefs at the door when they're going to see a make-believe film. This applies to everything, politics and religion. I think, you know, I have no problem with people at least having opinions about things. You guys know I've interjected about a lot of things. We talk about the homeless problem here in LA. It's terrible. Okay. And I know it's bad pretty much everywhere. You know, you talk about the immigrant situation. We have so much, everyone's piling in over the border. I'm allowed to have an opinion about that. It's not even political. It's that, what are we going to do when we can't even house half the people in LA? It feels like we're going to bring more people in. Where are they going to live? So, you know, yes, it's political, but I think it's based on a reasoned take with some knowledge of what's happening. I try to be, as you guys know, objective and neutral as much as possible. I'm never going to go into anything and say this is terrible right off the bat because it's woke. Go back and look at Little Mermaid, film that everyone's savage. When you watch Little Mermaid, the live action, it works. It's not a great film, but it does work enough. It's not destroyed by the fact that Haley is a black girl. It's not. So if that's what your brand is, then I don't want to be part of it. My brand is reality. My brand is opinionated, but objective. Those are things that are rare in this world. So if I'm going to state something, if I'm going to come in and say, this is what it is, you guys know I believe that. There's nothing else going on as far as, you know, some kind of agenda. There's no agenda here other than to call out what's good, what's bad, and what's going on in the world. If I want to get into that, it's all good. I'm allowed to have those opinions. Hopefully they don't offend you. And hopefully if you have a different opinion, I'm open to listening to it, because I don't believe in shutting someone down because you disagree. You might love Trump. You might love Biden. I don't really care. At the end of the day, you know, I'm not going to excommunicate you because you love Trump or you love Biden. I don't really give a shit. I just want to see what's best for humanity at the end of the day. I don't even really care about politics. Obviously, I care about politics in that if they are going to affect society and how they affect us and how we live our lives, different story, right? Hunter Schafer might have a decent career. I see him in that Cuckoo. I can't wait for that movie because remember, the director of that film is Luz. It's a fantastic, weird little horror film called Luz, Luz. Go watch it. It's 80 minutes long. Man, that's a cool film. I saw the trailer for the long extended version of Cuckoo today, and it looked cool. I mean, I have a lot of faith in this director. He's going to be big. And I saw Luz, and I go, yeah, you just know it. You know it when you see it. This director of Immaculate, not really impressive, other than the semi-decent Jacob Elordi, thank you. Semi-decent cinematography. That's it. Elordi's talented. Elordi's going to have a career. He's legitimate. He's obviously very good looking. He's like a 6'3" dude, chiseled jaw, good-looking guy, another Australian actor. How many have we had? And he is talented. You know, it's not just about the look. I think Sydney Sweeney is the look, not as much the talent. I'm not saying she's terrible. I'm just saying she's going to have to get better. It's clear. It's going to have to happen. Anything but you, not anyone but you, not that great in her performance, not that interesting. She's not interesting. There's nothing really there. Austin Butler, 100% charisma, very, very talented. Let's go to Omega Swiper. Where are you? I saw you on here somewhere. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Give me a moment to pause. I've been rolling for like 35 minutes straight. Okay. Like Roger Ebert said, it's not what a film is about, it's how it's about. It's a great point. It's a really good point, Rusty. You know, these films are not a savaging of the content. It's a savaging of the presentation. In fact, let's do it now. Let's talk about a film that's much better. And you talk about a film that is presented extremely well and is one rad concept. You talk about Late Night with the Devil, which was IFC's biggest opening weekend ever. So we had Neon and IFC back to back with their two biggest box office successes as far as debuts. And that points to we're in a good spot. We are theatrically in a really good place right now. And I love the fact that as we ramp things up into 2024, we've got a lot of very compelling product coming up. Not Kong and Godzilla. That's not compelling. I don't even really want to see it. I probably will because you know me, I got to see this shit. Because if I'm going to come on here and be familiar with the film and talk about it box office wise and certainly evaluation, I've got to see it. But I don't want to see it. I want to see Deadpool, obviously. I want to see Joker 2. I want to see going into the Cuckoo, whichever it is. I want to see that. I want to see Long Legs. I can't wait. I love Oz Perkins. You guys don't understand. Gretel and Hansel is hellaciously strong filmmaking. If you've not seen Gretel and Hansel, go watch it. Cinematography, score, production design, the way that film moves, it's not necessarily a scary or a great film. It's the atmosphere. And I can tell from what Oz Perkins did to Long Legs, that's good. I guarantee you tonight that Long Legs is going to be one of the, if not the single best horror film of 2024. I am guaranteeing it tonight because I know from Oz Perkins' track record that we are going to have a great film. Back to Late Night with the Devil. This is a film that really works on a brilliant concept. You talk about setting a film in the 70s, right? When talk shows were big. Think back to Joker, De Niro's show, very much that. Okay, so we take De Niro's late night talk show from Joker, and then we put David Dastmalchian. I screwed it up again. Dastmalchian. Please say I got it right. We put him as the De Niro character, as this up-and-coming 70s late-night talk show trying to beat Carson as a syndicated, 11:30 talk show host, coast to coast, and his ratings start to slip. So what's he do? He says, I've got to go more Jerry Springer here, and I've got to bring in some freaks and make this show more like a circus so I can compete with Carson. So I love the concept, right? And the way it's presented. Off the bat, it opens like a film reel. It talks about how the rise of him and this and that and gets you into the film and then says, and then the fateful night, Halloween 1977, when he invited this possessed girl and her handler, and they come on the show. Okay. So listen, the concept and what unfurls and unfolds throughout this hour and a half, really strong. It never once was uninteresting. Never once. Very rare for a film. Very rare. And it goes back to David Dastmalchian. Just leave me alone if I messed it up. he is weird, right? He's not a traditionally good-looking guy at all. He's the guy who shows up in the movie night. Who's the creep, right? Every time you go back, wasn't he in Boogeyman, one of the last ones I saw him in, where he shows up as like a former patient, and he's there. He's just weird, and he's perfect as that character actor. And here, he's like a Jimmy Kimmel-esque or Fallon kind of guy, and he sells the fact that he's desperate and wanting more than anything to have a legacy of being one of the best late night talk show hosts ever. So he brings on this woman that he knows, along with a skeptic, and of course the possessed girl. And then it all, goes to hell throughout the show as we watch it unfold. Now, here's the problem. The film's not scary. And I know that's going to say, how do you recommend a film when it's not scary? Because, again, the concept and the execution of Late Night with the Devil is spectacular, very strong. And because of the fact that you have this idea that is presented in a way that is fully engrossing for the entire runtime and has some really neat tricks that was very creative with the presentation, that's why you're going to get a recommendation from me. But it's not scary. And I think that's definitely an issue with this film. And I think one of the big problems with this film, and again, it's a recommendation, but we got to talk about what doesn't work. It's a non-grounded climax. If you've seen this film, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil this film because this is a film I recommend. I'm not going to destroy it like Immaculate and give you the movie. I'm going to tell you need to see the film. And I want you to support this film because IFC is a brand that gave us films during COVID. Remember, when all the studios were shut down and we're not going to give you movies, IFC was like, here you go. I forget the movie. It was the one where they had a creature in the walls. It was like a family of a mother and a granddaughter and all this and whatever. Help me out. You guys saw it. That was like a drive-in movie they gave us. So support IFC. But when you look at what happens at the finale of this film, and without giving it away, I wish that what had happened were more tangible rather than supernatural. Okay? I think that's the best way I can put it. And look, we have an MMT score of 87%, B+. It's a good number. I think, again, I went through the weaknesses and the strengths of the film. It's funny. It's one of the highest recommended 87% films I've ever had because of the fact that you are always involved with this film. You'll be stoked intellectually with this, thinking about where we headed, because it does a great job of keeping those cards held. And then finally, when it gets to that moment, it's not what you expect. And I don't think I really loved it, but it wasn't what I expected. So that is why we recommend the film. I say you got to see it. So get out and see Late Night with the Devil if you haven't. By the way, tonight's kit is Fiorentina from Serie A in Italy. And it's, by the way, the reason I wore this tonight, it's a cross. So I figured if I was going to wear this, I would wear it to see a movie that was about religion. And if it was blasphemous, then at least I would have a jersey with a cross on it. So I would be, safe. Oh my God. That's true. I really did go through that and say, what would be a good jersey to wear to the thing? Anybody see this movie? If you saw this movie, Late Night with the Devil, come in now and tell me. It's really good. It's very strong. David Dashmalchian. I was close. Super underrated. He's a great character actor, and this is one of the few times you're going to see him. Dark Knight, great point. You're going to see him as a lead because, remember, whenever you're kind of a weird-looking character guy, you don't get as many opportunities to be the lead actor, right? They're few and far between. So for him, this is his chance to shine and show he can do it. So if you're writing a movie, you just have to know that he's not going to be traditionally handsome. I mean, I met this guy. Well, I didn't meet him. I saw him. I saw him outside the Elvis party, huge Elvis party down in West Hollywood during the FYC season last year. Everybody was there. When I say everybody, I'm talking, I walked into this place and there was Danny DeVito's walking out. He's super short, as you'd imagine. And next to me getting a beer is Bill Maher. Okay, maybe he was getting a mixed drink. He's getting a drink. Maher's here. And I look over here and it's literally everywhere you look is a star. And so he's outside, David Dashmalchian. And I go, oh my God, that's the guy. He was super tall. He's a weird looking dude, but he's perfect for this role, and he's interesting, right? He's everything Sydney Sweeney isn't. Wow. We just brought this full circle. I don't know how we did that, but we did. But yeah, Kong versus Godzilla will be a hit. Let's open it up. Let's open up for a few minutes. I don't think Late Night delivered on the premise that Possessed Girl was lame. Yeah, Joel, listen, like I said, it's not scary, but I think that the execution of the film is so interesting to watch. And I am so tired of watching a film that I've seen a million times before, like Immaculate. I want to see something unique, something different, a new spin on something. This is found footage, right? I'm never going to dislike found footage unless it's called Malibu Horror Story. My God, that's not even a movie. If you want to watch not a movie, go watch Malibu Horror Story. I somehow saw it in a theater. It was by far the single worst film as far as filmmaking and overall effect. But I love found footage, and this film does a very good job of seamlessly kind of weaving that, right? We start with the introduction, explaining the situation, then we go to the show, then they weave in the backstage stuff in between the breaks. We get the breaks, and then they have the camera kind of documenting it. It's a really cool execution, and I think the concept, again, is worth the recommendation, but there are problems with the film, 100%. Okay, let's go. A couple more comments. We'll get into whatever you want to talk about here tonight. Whatever you want to do. On a positive note, David and the Possessed Girl both outstanding. Yeah, they were. The girl was very good. Thank you. That's exactly right. Which jersey? Well, tonight was, you got to think, it was a religious overtone. So anytime I do, I'll pull out the Fiorentina. I don't have too many jerseys that have a cross on them, right? But and this also is a super tight fit. This is like one of my tightest fits, like the player fit. So it's, I don't know what to tell you. Disagree, Eric. The nailed style, but the screenplay, that's something to be desired. It's fine. Joel, like I said, I get it. But you're not going to say it's terrible, right? That's the thing. You're not. Here's the thing, right? There's varying degrees of recommend and maybe disrecommend, right? There's that scale, okay? And we have the spectrum. So ultimately, in this case, I think everyone's going to be at least in the watch the movie, right? With Immaculate, it's clearly all in the no fucking way, don't do it. And then when we go to like a Dune 2, we're in the hell yeah, go watch this movie. So it's a lot of movies end to be, here in general, but I would push it up to you need to watch this movie. But I understand why you have problems with it. I totally get it. I didn't, it's funny, Coach sipping Jamba Juice. I started Outwaters and I turned it off because it was going nowhere. I assumed that it went somewhere, but I have no patience for this. It's got to, and that's what this film does well. This film progresses. This film keeps you engrossed. This film is really cool. And I think that's all really, how can you go wrong with a film that at least gets you fully involved with what's going on? All right, we got 15 minutes. Let's go through a few more comments in a moment. I want to go through stories, though, quickly. Ghostbusters Afterlife ends up with a slightly bigger debut. Frozen Empire, bigger than Afterlife by, what are we talking about here? We're talking about just a tiny little bit, like 1.5 million more. Not much, but the point is that this film was at least as successful as Afterlife in weekend number 1. There were some concerns that I had this film would go under, like 40 million, maybe even 35. So it shows that at least this film opened a little bit higher than a lot of people expected. That said, this film didn't do well overseas, and I don't see it particularly holding that strong. The cinema scores weak. You look at, the drop-off coming up next weekend with Kong versus Godzilla coming back and taking away audience when it comes to a big blockbuster, brainless film. That's going to be a problem. It's going to lose the PLF screens, too, because those are going to go, remember, to Godzilla Kong, the majority of those. They might give one to Ghostbusters, maybe a Prime, but the big ones, the IMAX and the Dolby, are going to go to Kong, so you lose that money. I don't think it has long staying power. I think this might be the last time we see the Ghostbusters. But again, I don't have a problem with the film. Go back and watch my reaction. It's fine. It's a fine film. I gave it 75%. It's a C. That's not very high, but it's acceptable. Dune 2 is almost at 600 million. I don't think we're going to see 775. I had it 775. I just don't think we get there. I think we end up about 715, maybe 730, 745. It's just, listen, it's still successful. Dune 2 is a success, no question. It's already cleared the entire domestic run of Wonka. And you're looking at a film that is over 500 million, nearing 600 million. Listen, it's not going to get to $1 billion. We knew that from day one. But this successful film, we're going to get a Dune Messiah. And at that point, then we can push the expectation higher because it will be the completion. Remember, anytime a film's a completion, quote unquote, then you're going to get a bigger number. People just don't like films that are like half or a cliffhanger. So there's part of that. But I think everyone will be in for the finale. And let's just pray that it does better. You know what's sad is that a film like Dune 2 doesn't make as much money as Avatar 2. Avatar 2 sucks. Avatar 2 there's nothing interesting. I don't want to watch another Avatar movie again in my life. Cameron has wasted his entire remaining years on this planet on this completely forgettable franchise, Avatar. I don't know how you guys consider this to be like elite film. This is nowhere near. It is a fucking video game. I am not a fan of Avatar. I don't want to see Avatar 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make it die, make it end. And what a shame. Ultimately, like I just said, whenever these filmmakers get locked up in this stuff, like Cameron with Avatar, thinking he's changing the world, if it was up to me, we wouldn't even be talking about Avatar anymore. Avatar 1 was a novelty. The fact that Avatar 2 made was it $2 billion? I'm telling you, it's a money laundering scheme. Avatar 2 has to be a money laundering scheme. There's no way that film made that much money. No one was talking about Avatar 2. Remember when it was out, it was like, it's making all this money. You're like, what? How is it making all this money? Nobody cares about this movie. It was terrible. It was terrible superhero movies. I'm telling you, Avatar 2 was one of the most painful, agonizing, brutalizing experiences of my life in a movie theater. I got up and I had my, hold on, where are my 3D glasses? Let's put them on for the remainder of the show. I had my glasses on and I go off to the side and I'm like, I get on my phone. I'm like, I'm watching the movie like this and I'm like randomly looking at shit on the internet. That movie was truly like getting drawn and quartered in a movie theater. And the fact that we have to sit through an Avatar 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6, here's what I'll say to you. And if you like Avatar, keep it to yourself. Avatar is McDonald's bullshit movie making. And the fact that some people consider this high art is truly puzzling, and I will never, ever understand the allure of Avatar. It's a gimmick. It's a video game. It has no true emotion to it, and everything about the movie sucks. I can't stand Avatar. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming in here and telling me. It is a tech flex. That is the best way. I'm taking that. I am taking that, Channel Con. I'm stealing that. It is 100% a tech flex. Ambulance was better. It's true, Matthew. Ambulance was better than Avatar 2. I'm 100% with you. You know what? Insert film Avatar 2, right? Insert film Avatar 2. Whatever film's over here has the large side of the alligator mouth. It's got it going that way because Avatar 2 is, okay, maybe it's a draw at Poor Things or Beau is Afraid. It's close. It's really close. It's like Oppenheimer was a money laundering scheme. No, I totally disagree, Jerk McMillan. That film has real fans. That film at 950 million. Think about how many people went to see that movie in multiple formats. I saw it in IMAX 70 millimeter, and right, those are the three biggies. I saw that, and then I saw it at live in concert, right, where we had Ludwig's score, one of the best events I've ever been to. Check out my reaction stream if you haven't seen that. That was an amazing night. But yeah, I mean, no, Oppenheimer's not a money laundering scheme. Avatar 2 is 100%. I think Avatar overall, here's what, you guys ready for here we go, conspiracy theory guy. I think Avatar is predictive programming of the elites trying to tell us that this is what your world's going to be like. You don't need to live a real life. You're going to sit inside this tank and slap goggles on your face, and you're going to live in the merry old land of what the fuck do they live in? That blue land, utopia. What's it called? Honest to God, whatever it's called, that land. That's what it is. It's literally like big government telling us this is going to be your life. Oh no, Weber's doing it. Pandora, thank you, Mega Swiper. And Mega Swiper wants to slap. He wants to strap his goggles on his face and never live. No, I'm just fooling with you, man. Avatar was a solid screenplay. Whatever, man. Yeah, okay. It's certainly better than Avatar 2. Avatar 2 is terrible. Terrible. What is this? Remember the fake stories about people committing suicide after being depressed? Pandora wasn't real. What? Who said that? What? Who wants to live in Pandora? That's so stupid. Who the hell wants? Thank you. All those screenings in LA were empty. Exactly, Gone Girl. That's what was weird. There were tickets sold and there was no one in the movie theaters. I'm telling you, if I went digging deep and if I disappear, you know why. It's because we found out that Avatar is a money laundering scheme. Disney's never invited me to anything. Don't care. I'll see it at the AMC Burbank. I don't need y'all. All the other people are like, oh no, is Disney going to take my pass and I can't see your movies anymore? Weber's like, I don't give a shit. I'll see it at AMC. And even if I don't, it's still just a movie. I'll still come on here and rant about something else. But they can't stop me. What, are they going to ban me from every movie theater? Do not let this man go in. That's it. Everywhere you go, there'll be a picture of me in some jersey. If you see this guy walk up with a football kit, don't let him in. Just look for the football kit. So I'll have to start wearing a trench coat, right? Or maybe I'll just bring my dog and slap a service animal on it. Okay, fine. We'll do it. We'll do a few minutes. MMT Gets Freaky. Everyone's going to leave right now. That's fine. So be it. Don't care anymore. You guys know it. You guys ready? Here we go. It's time for MMT Gets Freaky. Before we roll out of here, let's pull it up. Give me 1 second. This is, if you haven't ever been here for this, let's do it. Let's just set the stage. So MMT Gets Freaky is where I present some weird shit and you guys get to decide if it's real or not. I think that there's definitely some shit going on. I don't know what it is. I don't pretend to know what it is. I can just tell you that this is what I'm going to show you. Let me make sure I find the right thing. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So remember, this is our good channel, The Final Days. Now, it's good. I already see people leaving. Oh my God, it's so funny. They're like, goodbye. No, don't leave, because I'm going to show you something you've never seen. This is the real Pandora. Okay, ready? Here comes. Now, you're going to say it's a smudge on the screen. We've watched this before, everybody. Someone come in the chat and tell everybody who's just watching for the first time, what are we looking at here? Can someone tell me what are we looking at? That is, I'll get to your super chat. I saw that in Omega Swiper. I promise I'll get to it for you. What are we looking at, everybody? Tell everybody what that is in the sky. No, I don't. No, I do not, Byron, believe we're in the Matrix. I don't. No, I believe we're in a real spot. This is not virtual. We live in a tangible, right? I'm hitting the desk. We live in a tangible world. But I do believe that we are not in the place that we're told exactly. Okay, that I'll say. Okay, get ready. So this is a weather cam in the middle of, let's see where she is this time. This is in Missoula, Montana. So watch. So check this out. So hold on. Let me roll back. So it's hard to tell. Explain this to you. Let me make myself really small. Okay. So this woman, no, listen, John, just wait. Just listen to me. So this woman looks at weather cameras that are in the middle of nowhere. Okay, and so as she looks out in the sky, she scrubs through the video and she looks for things that are weird. Okay, so check this out. So she's saying the end of the world's coming, which actually I wouldn't doubt. Here we go. So watch this. This is from Montana, and we're going to watch this. Now, here's what you're going to say before. So this is where it is. It's in Montana. There it is. Get ready. So watch this. Okay. I love how she has arrows for us. Did you guys hold on? Watch. So she has arrows saying, watch the spot right there as we hit the button and watch what's going to show up in the spot in the weather. This is not some kind of refraction of the light. Okay. Do you start to see, wait for it. You're going to start to see like a roundish kind of thing spinning. Once she puts contrast on it, you can see what we're talking about. It looks like a moon. It looks like a planet with craters, only it's rotating down, right? It's coming down from like, what is that? A southeast trajectory across the sky. So it goes against everything we've been told. But you can't see it unless you're like, it's got almost like there's a filter or a lens on it. Now, look, when you hit this is different. Hold on, let me find where she has it really good. Watch it here. Watch this thing spin. So watch, here it comes. Get ready. It's going to show up. Watch when it spins. I want you to pay attention. Very important here. Pay attention to the crater. And one of the things that I think is amazing about this, and we talk about predictive programming all the time, and whatever, man, I don't know if it's real or not. I just present things, and then you guys can look at it and figure it out. I just am going to tell you this. Don't think everything you've been told is true. Do not think that everything that I'm telling you is true, but also don't think, oh, no, that's not real. Can't be real. Like, you can't say it can't be real. The moment you say something can't be real, then you're not going to be open to even thinking that it's real. You have to be open. Just like when I walk into a movie. If I walk into a movie saying this is going to suck, I'm dead. Now, that said, I was not super thrilled to watch Immaculate today, but when the screen started, the neon logo came on, I was like, let's see what we got. Because you have to find a way to get back to zero. You have to find a way to ground yourself and get ready for the movie. So now I'm asking you to ground yourself and watch what I present. This is a rotating planet or moon. Watch. Watch the craters and watch how they move as this thing moves, right? So if it were like a lens flare, it would just be a thing and it would show up and it would disappear. The fact that this is moving, okay, in that southeast trajectory with craters that are moving, watch, every time it moves is every 5 minutes. You're going to notice the craters are moving with it, right? Do you see that? Pick a crater, watch it move. Watch, here comes the sun from behind it. Do you see this? So as it goes, what I'm trying to say is it's a freaking object. That's there. It's 100% there. And the reason that it has to be, or they're projecting shit in the sky. It's either being projected, it's not being added by this woman. It's this old woman who's like crazy. So she's not adding it. At this point, I start to feel like Jeff Goldblum at Independence Day. You know what I'm saying? In fact, if that's the case, then I really should put the glasses back on, because this is MMT Gets Freaky after all. You remember Goldblum was like, everyone thought he was nuts, and then guess what? He was right. So one more time, let's watch this thing spin. Pick a crater and watch it move. Watch the craters are moving. The craters are moving with the planet. Okay, let me see if I got another one here. Here's another one. Watch. Here's another one. This is a good one. Watch, the sun comes across. Watch the middle of the screen. There's a smaller thing. It's going to be hard to see, but look in them. There it is. Look, watch. Do you see it move? Look, it looks like a bowling ball with craters, and it's rolling. Do you see how it's moving? Do you guys see it? Do you see that? Come in the comment. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? I mean, I don't know what it is. But listen, have we not been told that the Death Star has a gigantic hole? Let's go back and look at that first thing. What? Look at that. Hold on. Look at the crater. Wait. Wait for the crater to come around. Look at the giant crater. Do you see it at the bottom? That looks like the Death Star. It literally looks like the Death Star. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Predictive programming, Star Wars, A New Hope, that's no moon. They were telling us the moon is fake a long time ago. You heard it. Listen, I'm just telling you. Here's what I know. I know this for sure. I would bet every amount of dollars... I would bet every amount of dollars that I ever make that there's shit in the sky that we can't see. There's something up there. I guarantee it. I know I'm right. You guys know I'm right too. Give me a like. You know I'm right. Let me find one more video and then we gotta go. Star Wars is real. Listen, where do you think they get some of this shit? In a sci-fi movie, he plays crazy. I would be amazing in that role. Here he is. They'd be like, this guy's crazy. But it's true, dude. That's a planet. It's a moon or a planet. And that's not the moon. That's not what the moon looks like. It's got craters. Is that Mercury? What the fuck is Mercury doing out here? Why? We've been told Mercury's over by the sun. Is Mercury by? Let's look at a picture of Mercury. Let's see it. Let's watch it. Let's see if there is a let's see if we have an artist rendering of Mercury. Well, holy shit, it kind of looks like, look at this. Can you guys see it? Hold on, let me zoom in. It kind of looks like Mercury. Look, hold on. Look, it's got craters. Look, see, it looks like the moon. That looks like Mercury. Is Mercury outside our window? I don't know. I'm just saying, guys. What is that? You tell me. It could be moonfall. It could be. If this show disappears, you know I was right. Just remember that. It'd be funny if all 8 billion of us were on Truman Show. I mean, I don't know. Here's what I promise you. Listen, here's what I'm going to promise you guys. I promise you this. Whenever we pass on to the next dimension, I am certain of this. You are going to be told shit that's going to blow your brains. And here's what I'll also say. If you start to see and open yourself to this now, you'll be like, yeah, Weber told us. You're going to be like, Weber wasn't right, but he was sort of right. And ultimately, that's all I want to be. I don't want to be right. I just want to be sort of right. Because, none of us know the truth. We just know that they lie to us, right? Can we all agree on that? Can we just all agree that they lie to us? Let me find one more video and we're getting at it. So it might be, hold on, I don't know if I showed Mercury. It might be Mercury. Do you see the holes? Do you see the Mercury? Let me go back to Mercury. Hold on. Look, do you guys see Mercury? Look, here it is. You see it down there in the corner? It kind of looks like Mercury. I don't know, maybe. Okay, hold on. Last one. Were they telling us something with Freddie Mercury? All right. Here we go. Last one, because we're over an hour, and that's my limit, and I can't do it. Okay, hold on. This one says chemtrailing. Okay, listen, can we talk about chemtrailing real quick? Sorry, this is, I like to do this. So chemtrailing is the thought that if you look up in the sky and you see, like the exhaust of a plane, right? You go, oh, that's water vapor. No, they're saying that this is actually like a smoke screen. Imagine a plane letting out some kind of chemical, some kind of smoke, some kind of thing into the atmosphere so that it would blur what we see. Okay, that's the thought. Just so you guys understand, I'm not saying it is. I'm telling you that maybe it could be that. Okay, hold on. Let me find one here. This is Jeff P. I love Jeff P. If Jeff P. Here's what I will say to Jeff P. If Jeff P wants to come on the show, I will do an interview with Jeff P. I would love to. If you guys go to his page, you see it there, it's Jeff P. Go to his page and say Weber wants to interview you. Get on his channel, because I think Jeff knows some shit. Like, we can start doing MMT like every week, and Jeff would come on and he'd be like, I would ask good questions and we would get to the bottom of this shit. And then the government would shut us up. But at least for the short while, I'm trying to find something good. Don't really see too much here. Hold on. Oh, this is good. I saw something like this in the sky the other day. I'm not even kidding you. Watch. Wait. Where is it? I really should vet this shit before I start playing the video. This isn't like one of Jeff P's best. I'm disappointed, Jeff. But I like Jeff. Jeff, you want to come on? You'll be on. Okay, hold on. Giant X. Oh, this is the one I think we like. This is the one I think we've watched like 1 billion times. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. This is really good. Couple comments and we'll get out of here. Hold on, wait. Now, this is about light. He's claiming real quickly, he's claiming there's a light in the sky that's like almost, there's a sun simulator. So there's a sun, there's also a gigantic light out there. That's what he claims. I don't know if he's right. I'm just saying he claims there's a thing called the sun simulator. He says the ISS is the International Sun Simulator. Does that make sense to you guys? So they're literally telling you that it's there, but they're just calling it the space station. They're like, because there's a lot of theories that say these things kind of to F with us. And then they really, like, it's like Star Wars, right? There's the Death Star. Well, the Death Star is actually a thing. They like throw it in your face and go, haha, they don't realize the Death Star is real. And you go, oh, okay, that's all science fiction. Oh, maybe it's not. Okay, hold on. This is the very best of Jeff P. Let me see if I can find it. We got to get Jeff P on the show. That would be like the highlight of the show. You guys think I get all excited for all these other things? If Jeff P comes on the show, I'll be the happiest I've ever been on the show. All right, hold on. Let me find something. Oh, this is wild. Yeah, have you ever seen that? Can you guys see it? Do you see like the halo effect? Look, do you see how weird that is? What the hell is that? Like, what's going on there? You're going to say, water crystals. Watch this. This is wild. Check this thing out. What the hell is that in the sky? Look. It's like there, and then all of a sudden it starts getting eaten up. Hold on, let me find it. There it goes. Look, it's like an eclipse. It's like it was there, and all of a sudden, look, what the hell is that? What's going on? I don't know what that is. Is that like a drone show? This is before drone shows. Okay, well, oh, this is a good one. Watch this shit. Okay, check this out. So this is in the clouds. Watch this. Watch this in the left-hand portrait. Watch what's coming out. Ready? Here it comes. Get ready. You're going to see, I'm no joke, a planet or some shit that's like gigantic come out of the clouds. Do you see it? Do you guys see it? It literally looks like we're watching a horror movie. It almost looks like there's a dude in the clouds. Do you guys see that? Like, it looks like a hand. Do you guys see that's like a dude? Hold up, bros. There's a dude. Do you see the head? Hold on, let me make it bigger. Do you guys see the shadow of the dude holding his hand up? Holy shit. Dude, this is Pacific Rim. Do you see it? Right, look, right. Okay, let's see if I can get my do you see it? Do you see the guy right here? Here's the head, here's the arm, and it's almost like a shield or some shit. There's the head. It almost looks like a Roman gladiator or some shit. Do you see that? Dude, this is weird. Hold on, let me show you the planet. Here it comes. Watch. I never saw the dude. Look, do you see the planet moving? It's like do you see it rolling? What is that? Weird. Okay, one more and then we're getting out of here. Look, it actually goes all the way across the sky. Do you see it? Look. That's a planet. What the hell is that? Shit's weird, man. What the hell? I don't know what that is. Hold on, let me find. Oh, here's one. Oh, well, I don't know what that. I have no idea what that is. No idea. Let's see. There's one here. Oh, do you see that? Look. There's like a planet with wings or some shit. You see it in the sky? Look, above the planet. Like, what is that? Do you see it? It's moving. It's like a black thing. I saw something like that in the sky the other day. Hold on. One more and then we're almost done. See if there's anything else on this one. I'll get a good one. Oh, this is crazy. Check this shit out. This is one I saw and I go, what? You're ready. Look. Stop. Do you see that? What the hell? That's like a light behind a planet. Where do we live? Do you guys honestly, does anybody really know? We've been told, watch the skies. What did they tell us in the movie a couple years ago? Don't look up. Remember that? What was that about? End of the world. Okay, real quick, one more there. We'll stop there. Look at that shit. Do you see that? The sun, there is something in front of the sun. That's like an eclipse. Who's to say I don't? Yeah, maybe, John. Maybe. All right. I think it's a dude playing a dude disguised. I don't know, man. Felicity. Here's what I love. Thanks for indulging me here tonight, by the way, guys. That's MMT Gets Freaky. We'll get ready to wrap. Listen, at the end of the day, we're only here for so long, right? So why not ask questions and go places and experience things and have no fear? There's no reason to live otherwise. I don't understand any other way to exist. So as such, we'll continue doing so here on MMT. Tonight's show was fun. I had no idea what we were going to do. We did Sydney Sweeney, and then we closed with, the end of the world. It is what it is. It's what the show is. I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing else like it. It just comes through me like a force of nature. Thanks for being here, guys. I'll see you next time. MMT, peace out. Do I have to watch Kong Godzilla? Oh, fuck, I do, don't I? Oh,